Hey guys, it's me again. So this review is a long time coming. I think this book's nearly 2 weeks old now, but I had other commitments, I guess. But I'm finally taking a look at it. Well, I've already read it, but I'm finally reviewing it. So this is Spider-Man Life Story 1, the 60s, by Chip Zdarsky and art by Mark Bagley. So, basic premise is that it's like a mini-series. It's 6 issues. The next one actually comes out tomorrow. I've already pre-ordered it. It's about Peter Parker if he aged in real time, basically. So, this is the 60s where he's like a kid. In this one, he's at university or college, whatever you want to call it. And, every next issue is a new decade in his life. So, yeah. So this story takes place in 1966, and basically there's a lot of kind of classic Spider-Man learning to take responsibility. That's kind of throughout the whole book, because the book is basically set at the height of the Vietnam War, and we see Flash Thompson is headed to war, and Peter Parker kind of drops in and says, did Flash screw up and tell us his made-up war stories too early? And then, Gwen and everyone they're a little shocked at his behavior, because, Flash is going off to war. It's not an easy thing to do. But Peter's still got all that extra baggage from high school, which he still hasn't really come to terms with, because Flash obviously was a bully and made Peter's life harder. So, and then, obviously he apologizes, which is a good thing, because no one wants to see Peter Parker be kind of a massive dick. He's got to have some morals and, know when to quit, basically. So it's a lot more human than some of these Marvel comics nowadays, where no one's wrong about anything, and they don't apologize for anything. They don't grow and learn. But we can see Peter definitely regrets what he said. But he's clearly pretty messed up from high school, and he says, high school was rough for me, and you were a big part of that. I know you've grown past who you were, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm still there, and I snap at you because I can now, if that makes sense. So, he's obviously, he doesn't really hate Flash Thompson, but he was so used to being picked on by him that now he can do it back. So it's good to see character development in comics. nowadays. And then we have a scene with Norman. He knows that Peter's Spider-Man, and he threatens to blow up the bar they're in. So yeah, there's a big scene with Green Goblin. Yeah. Not much to say about that. It's pretty standard action, not bad. Then he meets up with Captain America, and there's kind of another part to the story about Peter Parker wondering if he should enlist in the military and fight in Vietnam, because I mean, obviously he's got superhuman powers, and he would be a very valuable asset, and he probably would save a lot of soldiers from their inevitable demise, inevitable without his help. And it's kind of the cornerstone of Peter Parker's character learning to take responsibility, and he's conflicted on what the right choice would be. And Captain America gives him a big speech about responsibility, things like that, you know, the typical Spider-Man story. He says, "You do good work here. I see that every day. Responsibility is about a lot of things, but first and foremost, it's about selflessness and sacrifice, and seeing you throw yourself into danger's way. It's clear you understand both of those things. Let your heart guide you, and I'll see you soon." You know, so obviously he respects Peter, and he knows that Peter can make the right decision. He trusts him with that, but Peter's still conflicted about what to do. So yeah, Norman Osborn gets turned in, and he's also conflicted about, you know, the impact it will have on Harry Osborn, because obviously he's his father, and Norman doesn't remember anything. He doesn't know he's the Green Goblin, and Harry doesn't know. Peter's conflicted about whether he's done the right thing in that sense as well. And then he misses Flash's departure, and he has an argument with Gwen about never being on time, because that's the typical, you know, Peter Parker character trait. He's always between two worlds as Spider-Man and Peter. So he always has to sacrifice something from both of his lives to make it work, and always kind of ends up screwing up as Peter. And he says, "I've been terrible. I try to do the right thing, but it always gets messed up. I wish I could explain to you why, but..." So, you know, that's another classic kind of Spider-Man kind of arc, is that, you know, he has to keep his identity secret to protect the ones he loves, and he's always conflicted about whether he should tell them, or, you know, risk losing that relationship, but also if he should tell them, and whether that would jeopardize their lives as well. So, you know, his life isn't easy, as you can see. But then Gwen finds the costume, so now she knows, obviously. So it's kind of a weight lifted off his shoulders, but at the same time, it endangers her as well. Then we jump to 67 with Captain America basically painted as a traitor for defending some Vietnamese civilians from some trigger-happy American soldiers, because they're all annoyed that Iron Man gets all the fame basically from disarming the Viet Cong, and because he obviously has far superior technology than they do. So, and then it cuts off there, so, and then second issue comes out tomorrow, I believe. I don't know if it'll come tomorrow because it might take like a day to get delivered. But yeah, I've already ordered that, so I'll try and do a review sooner rather than later. This is the only bad part of the comic, in my opinion. The freaking ad on the back page. So the art's pretty good. Like, looking at it now, I actually like it more, I think, than I did. It's simple, but it's well done. And the coloring is mostly well done as well. It doesn't contrast especially well, but mostly it's okay. In terms of the story, it's good. It's kind of a classic kind of Spider-Man, learning to take responsibility for his life and for his life as his alter ego, and learning the meaning and the value of the powers he's been given, and his conflicted views as to how he should use those powers, whether he should sacrifice his life as Peter Parker in order to save more people's lives. So I actually really liked this book. It's, it feels like a step up from a lot of other recent Spider-Man or just in general Marvel comics. It kind of deserves to be on better paper though, if I'm being honest. But yeah, this was it was $9.50 Australian, which I think is about $6 or $7 US. Oh wait, it says $4.99 US there. So I think that's a okay price. I liked it. It does beg to be on better paper. Unfortunately, this is Marvel now, I guess. Paper is really thin, and the ink, it doesn't seem great quality, to be honest. But, if you can get this now, I would, and then probably get the next issues. I'm sure they'll be just as good. So that's my review of Spider-Man Life Story Issue 1, The 60s, by Chip Zdarsky and Mark Bagley. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and keep it cool, keep it calm, and keep it tuned to the Comical channel. Thanks. See ya.